The rate of chemical abuse and substance dependence is becoming increasingly prevalent among many Nigerian youths. Now, recreational drugs use is illegal, yet some of these drugs have remained easily accessible. But why are illicit drugs in such high demand? For some, it's a thrill, while others aim at finding solace to escape a deeper emotional pain by numbing themselves with tranquilizers and narcotics, among others. Hello and welcome to Crime Watch. I'm Ivy Kano. Let's bring you some headlines making incidents.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency in Ondo State has arrested a notorious drug dealer who allegedly masterminded the killing of 4 officials of the agency in February. State Commander of the agency, Aruna Gagara, also disclosed that more than 14 tons of cannabis have been destroyed after raids on 6 camps. 8 locally made guns and several rounds of cartridges were seized during the operations carried out in the state for 1 week.
This driven operation has led to the seizure of several tons of cannabis already harvested and heaped for onward movement to the illicit drug markets. Not fewer than 14.3 tons of the illicit drug crops were destroyed by burning at 6 camps raided by the operatives, and a notorious cannabis merchant suspected to be the mastermind of the killing of NDLA personnel earlier in the year was apprehended during the operation.
The Nigerian Medical Association Osun State Chapter is threatening industrial action if the federal government fails to arrest and prosecute killers of Jerome Elusinya, a professor of medicine at the Obafemi Awolowo University. The professor, who was also chairman Medical Advisory Council of the OAU Teaching Hospital, was killed by unknown gunmen in Ekpoma on his way to Benin after an official assignment at the Ambrose Ali University in Edo State. The NMA says it will not be able to guarantee industrial harmony if government and security agencies fail to fish out the killers and bring them to justice.
He has been a blessing to a lot of lives. As you can see, crowd has been coming to this place to condole with the family, because he has impacted so many lives. He has paid the school fees of so many people. He has a foundation that has empowered a lot of people.
He's a very humble person, very intelligent, brilliant, because you see, he reached the pinnacle of his career as a professor.
One of the group that paid the highest tax in this country, but there's nothing we receive in return. Even our life is not guaranteed. This should not be so. The government should do something, should consider this incident a matter of urgent and pressing public interest, to direct appropriate investigative outfits to unravel the identity of these wicked perpetrators and subject them to the full wrath of the law.
The Inspector General of Police says some of the criminal activities along the Abuja-Lokoja Road and the surrounding areas are carried out by bandits who refuse the amnesty program in Zamfara State. Mohammed Adamu told senior officers in Abuja that operations to tackle the criminals are yielding results. According to him, more than 6,000 high-profile suspects have been arrested and more than 2,000 firearms recovered.
We are aware that because of the successes were recorded in the northwestern part of the country, especially Zamfara, a lot of bandits have given up arms, and some refuse to give up their arms, and they push further to Niger, Kogi, Nasarawa, and some part of FCT, and we are aware of that. And since 2 weeks ago, we decided to now move into their camp to disrupt their activities. So we move into the camp between Toto, FCT area up to Kogi, Robochi area. And many of them were arrested.
It is no longer business as usual for illicit drug peddlers and consumers within the Federal Capital Territory with the launching of a special anti-narcotics squad by the Nigerian police. The squad has been raiding black spots of illicit sales and consumption of hard drugs within the metropolis. Several arrests have been made and most of the suspects were found with cannabis, codeine syrup, tramadol and cocaine.
A survey by Nigeria's National Bureau of Statistics in collaboration with the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime indicates an increase in the use of psychoactive substances by adults in the country. A breakdown shows an estimated 10.6 million use cannabis, 4.6 use opioids, 2.3 use cough syrup, 0.4 use tranquilizers and sedatives, 0.09 use cocaine, and 0.08 use heroin.
It has been wonderful.
In Abuja, the police authorities are concerned that drug abuse fuels crime. That's why a special squad is tasked with dealing with drug-related crimes. At the divisional police station in Wuse, a team prepares to embark on an operation. The objective is to raid black spots used for drug business. We join the team. The first port of call is Constantine Street.
Yeah, we're told that due to the presence of NDLEA operatives around here, nobody was caught. So the team is moving to another location.
At Algeria Street, the team makes some arrests. A controlled substance is found on a suspect. Next stop is Ademola Adetokunbo Crescent. The team lays siege on this alley for suspected drug peddlers. In no time, one person is arrested. The team returns to base with suspects and the items found on them. Getting to the station, another team on the same mission had returned with a lot more success.
At the end of this operation, for today alone, 14 suspects have been arrested. An investigation would reveal if they are peddlers or consumers.
Among the items recovered from the suspects are cannabis, codeine syrup, tramadol, and cocaine.
See this India hand. This one cannot be said to be a peddler. It cannot be said to be a consumer, but a peddler. All the polythene bags you are seeing, all this one is codeine. This one is okay. This one. This one you use it to sniff it. Look at it. You use this one to sniff the cocaine.
They say when they are done with investigation, the suspects will be charged to court.
Kidnapping of children for ransom isn't quite strange news these days, but not when a family member is fingered in the crime. 4 suspected kidnappers are now in police custody over the adoption and killing of a 7-year-old boy, Abdul Malik Musa, who was taken on the 11th of December at his parents' residence in Sabo, Abeokuta. The gang was said to have been led by his uncle Farouk, who contracted 3 others to assist him perpetrate the act.
The victim, Abdul Malik Musa, was kidnapped on Wednesday, the 11th December 2019, at his parents' residence in Sabo, Abeokuta. The gang was said to have been led by his uncle Farouk Seidu, who contracted 3 others to assist him. The police public relations officer in the state described the act as man inhumanity to fellow man.
The man who planned this, the whole crime happened to be a brother to the father of this deceased boy. And he said that he needed money to marry the 3rd wife. And because the father did not give him, his brother, who happened to be the father of this boy, did not give him the money, that is why he contracted 3 others to come and kidnap his son in order to demand for ransom. After collecting the money, they now discovered that the boy recognized about 2 among them. And eventually they killed the boy and threw the corpse into this river.
One of the suspects confirmed the position of the police, but the uncle of the victim denies his involvement.
If you go allow the boy no allow you go. The boy go run committee allow you last year. Now he come tell me say, what you go do there now? Make I help her keep that money. Dealer now he carry that boy. He take her to his house. Go. His house go. Can you to allow you know his house? Now only one they live for inside the room. To dealer come tell me say, well I no kill that boy. Because if he no killer, he say the boy no.
I didn't talk before.
Did you carry the
it's
boy
okay.
on top of Okada?
It's okay. I don't.
You carry him?
No, I didn't carry him inside Okada.
But you did there.
I did. I don't see him.
You see him?
I see him. Now be the either. If you say no, they no go do him. Because all these people that be small boy. But this our elder brother, na be know them. If you no gather them, they no go do that kind of thing. And we want make it a big. Make it take solution for this, because this thing, if it pass like this will go worse. Because they say, even now, they say, after the case that boy say, they want to take another action again for that challenge.
The police public relations officer advised members of the public to be security conscious and promised that police will not allow criminals to hibernate in the state.
The suspects will be charged as soon as investigation is concluded. Now, Nigeria's land border closure is one of the most talked about issue in the country at the moment, as mixed reactions continue to thrill the policy since it was announced by the federal government in August. Some people believe that it is responsible for the hike in prices of staple food and other consumer goods, but government says the move has been strategic in tackling smuggling, kidnapping and other related crimes. Is border closure the panacea for Nigeria's security challenges? Is it part of the security strategy on border management? Joining me to examine the security implications of Nigeria's border closure is Dixon Osaji, a security consultant. I'll start by asking, do you think the border closure is the solution to the lingering security challenges we have in the country?
Border closure is not part of the problem in solving our security challenges, but it's also going to mitigate our security challenges because Nigeria has been faced with a lot of security challenges, from insurgency to terrorism to kidnapping, banditry and other security threats that we are suffering due to the porosity of our national borders. From the east, we're bordered by Cameroon, going to the northeast, we're bordered by Chad. From the north, bordered by Niger Republic, while here in the southwest, we're also bordered by Benin Republic. I really appreciate the closure of the border, to my own personal opinion and my own personal observation.
And why do you say so?
If you look at statistics properly, since the closure of our national borders, you observe that the spate of criminality is reducing to the barest minimal, like the spate of banditry and the spate of kidnapping as well, because most of these guys, what they do is that they take the advantage of the porosity of our borders. When they strike here in Nigeria, they are quickly to take a cover in the neighboring country. I also want us to understand that the closure of this border is a temporary pain for a permanent gain, because no pain, no gain. I appreciate the leadership of retired Colonel Hamid for such initiative alongside with the presidency. And I will also advise that the border should remain closed in the next 10, 20 years because we need to put our heads together. It's not going to be a good idea for us to be surviving by our neighbors. We should not depend our survival from our neighbors because if anything goes wrong in the nearest time, maybe perhaps we have conflict with these guys and they decide to shut down their borders, we'll pay for that. So it is right time for us to come back home, sit down, analyze our problem and also our profile solutions. Yes, the borders has been closed down. What are the necessary actions from the government? For me, I think this is the right time the government should also look at engaging our youths. Most of our youth are suffering from psychological murder. There is joblessness. Because if the youth are suffering from joblessness and the state cannot provide such job, the offer from the enemy is a welcome development. And that is why most of these enemies, what they do to entice these our guys to insurgency and terrorism is to give them good pay, brainwash them and make them feel good because these guys believe that, well, the government of the day has not responded to their wants. So they fall back to the enemy's offer. So moving forward, what we need to do is that I want our government to come back to the drawing board and also let us apply the MPH methodology. Like in 1965, when Singapore divorced Malaysia, Singapore thought that that would be the end of Malaysia. Malaysia thought that would be the end of Singapore. And what went right? Singapore, they all came together and said, well, we are on our own now. We cannot depend on our neighbors. They went into MPH. They are into pragmatism and the honesty, meritocracy, pragmatism and honesty. Meritocracy in the sense that we need to look at our country beyond the nepotism and religious bigotry. We need to look at our country whereby we define our oneness. We need to define what Nigeria is because we must tell ourselves the truth, we are not united. If we must move forward, the unity of purpose must be registered within our confines. Because here in Nigeria, we're not united. Yes, we have security challenges from east, west, south, and north. But until we define our purpose, that unity, when we begin to unite from the east, west, south, and north, the security challenges will begin to dissipate. Because this methodology of Singapore that made Singapore what Singapore is today is one advice I want our government to key in. Just like some few weeks back, you are aware about the national security strategies that was released by the federal government. That strategy is a welcome development. I went through that strategies, though it's an unclassified security strategy. I also believe that the classified strategy also will be met for the operational methodology. And
there's also this allegation or something like that of customs agents, gaining more with the border closure, what you're supposed to pay. Like people are paying double, and still struggling is going on. What do you have to say to that?
Well, that's where discipline comes to play. If the federal government give an instruction or sign a policy on our border closure, from all nooks and crannies, that instruction must be respected. We've seen one or two videos going viral about one or two customs personnel aiding the smuggling of the contrabands into the country. I believe in every organization there are one or two bad eggs. Those are the bad eggs, and that will not be an avenue for us to write off the Nigerian custom. And the custom also needs to understand that the sole objective of the existence of Nigerian custom is not to make money. Custom service secondary purpose is to make money. The primary purpose is to ensure the safety of Nigerians and prevention of narcotics and illegal goods that are not expected to come and cause damage to the citizens of this country. So if such is taking place in any of our borders, I believe there will be disciplinary measures against those guys, because the essence of deterrence is very, very important. People who go against the law must be well dealt with. And when you deal with those kind of people, you set them up as a form of deterrence, and there will be a change.
I'm going, I was going to ask you, do you think border closure is part of security strategy, especially of border management?
Closure is not a part of security strategy of border management. The reason why we have this border closure is because our border has been open for a very long time. And looking at the state of insecurity, for example, is on the high rise. For me, I think the essence of that border closure is to mitigate the spate of insecurity. For instance, now, if some criminal elements are getting their arms and ammunition from a neighboring country, the ones they have that they are still using in the country, once it's exhausted, they will find it difficult to get more arms and ammunition to the country. So that is where the mitigation process begins to play, because these guys will no longer be able to get their illegal items or arms proliferations into the country. But for me, border closure for us now, let us leave it at that. Yes, a lot of people are crying that they are going through pain. No pain, no gain, as I earlier said. We must go through this pain collectively. We also need to depend on our own natural produce. Because Nigeria is too big to depend on any African nation. If we cannot take care of our own self, that means that is a disaster in waiting, because anything can go on wrong in the nearest time. So in this closure is going to give a lot of farmers the avenue to sell more of their produce, and also our rice farmers will also sell more of their produce, and it's also going to create more jobs opportunity for our youths as well, because the creation of job is also a mitigation aspect when we come to security management. So I believe the border should remain closed, and I also want to thank the custom management for such initiatives, because it's a welcome development. Nigerians will not see it now, but in the nearest few 3, 4, 5 years, we'll begin to see that the spate of criminality is dissipating. Why is it dissipating? Because the avenue in which people smuggle in arms into this country is already shut down. And Nigerian customs should take this border closure as a serious issue and ensure that the survival of Nigeria is paramount to their day-to-day operations.
Finally, what's your take on this new visa regime where Africans with passports are allowed to come into the country?
Well, for me, as a Christian, my Bible tells me we should respect the government of the day. Yes, I actually respected the decision of the president. But Mr. President, in this time we are looking at mitigating the spate of insecurity in Nigeria, and we're also looking at closing our borders so that our security agencies could be able to close up on this spate of insecurity. Ivy, between you and I, the initiative for me is not a welcome development, because it's going to put Nigeria in a detrimental position, in the sense that, yes, we're actually porous. We're actually porous. Our border has been porous. Now, and most of the people that commit these criminal acts, what they do, from the information we also have, most of them comes through our borderline areas. Now, if we are going to be giving visa on arrival, criminal elements will take hold of that opportunity, and Nigeria will be invaded in the nearest 5-10 years. Invaded in the sense that a lot of people will be coming into Nigeria. How are you going to vet them? Who is going to carry out the background check of these people? Who have their record? Do we have their records? Where they were coming from? Do we know the criminal act they've committed in their country? Is there a database to regulate their record? Is there a global or a African national database that you can log in their passport and see if these guys are really criminals, or perhaps they've been an ex-convict? How do you regulate their criminal acts? How do you check their history? That is it's a threat to the survival of Nigeria, that's such policy. I will ask the government of the day to take a review of that decision, just because they've done something so well in closing our borders. Why are you now opening our airport for people to come on arrival? For me, and with all honesty, it's not a welcome development, except the government or the presidency are saying that, well, such decision is for some clients or some elites or some group of people who they think they have their own information at their doorsteps. But if you leave it at that, in the next 5-10 years, Nigeria will be invaded. Criminal-wise, Nigeria will be invaded. So such policy should be revised, and it's not a welcome development.
It's 1 week to Christmas, where a lot of traveling is done. Let's tell you how to stay safe during this period.
Important travel safety tips you should know. Write down emergency info. If disaster strikes, there will be no time to search for numbers of police or ambulance services. You will also be too stressed and panicky to think straight. Lock up your valuables. Traveling with anything valuable is usually a bad idea. Your job is to minimize easy opportunities for theft. Ask locals for advice. If you really want to know which neighborhood is safe, ask a resident of the area. It's also wise to get a second opinion. Don't share too much with strangers. Making your itinerary more public on social media can be a roadmap of your movements. It's a sort of thing someone with ill intentions would love to know. Beware of your clothing. The wrong clothes scream. It makes you a target for scammers and thieves. The less obviously you look, the less attention you get from wrong people. Travel in numbers. The more people around you, the more eyeballs are on your valuables. Trust your instincts. This is incredibly important. You're a walking surveillance network. Your body sees and hears more things than you could process.
That's Crime Watch this week. Stay with us on more updates on all social media platforms at TVC News NG using the hashtag Crime Watch. Do have a Merry Christmas. I'm Ivy Khan.